I may have overshot a little bit in terms of canvas size. This is way too big, even my computer screen can't display the end product properly, and it's not a bad monitor, I just hope it prints okay. Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. Water City has been a project that was on my mind for a very long time. I only started it recently because I was working on other stuff before. By the way, if you want to see all the other stuff I'm talking about, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to give me drawing prompts, you can also tell me in the comments, or DM me on Instagram, Twitter, or Reddit. All the links are below in the description. The idea here is simple. You know, when a drop of water falls onto a flat surface, like still water, well, it creates this amazing 3D pattern. It's all circular and with perfect oscillations. Now, take that, but on the surface of the water there's a city with a ton of buildings. That's basically it. The whole idea is just that. So what do I do next? I find a good picture of a water drop after it fell. I trace a bit of warped perspective grid, because just from the top of my head it's way too hard, and then I fill it. What you're seeing now is me just making rectangles, trying to follow the warped perspective. And I did that for like 5 hours. I couldn't do it in one sitting. After a while the rectangles were messed up because of wrist aches, basically. At first I wanted to have a lot of different sized buildings all over it, but let's face it, taking that into account while also thinking of the not flat surface of water was just too much. Sometimes you can think of a very ambitious project and then realize that you're not ready for it yet. Maybe it was just at the time, and maybe I'll never do, but while drawing this piece I didn't have the mental capacity to do what I envisioned in my head. And it's okay, you can't shoot for the moon every time. Here's something the professional artists don't tell you often. Everybody has a lot of different projects or ideas, but sometimes it's just too much. I have many things I've drawn sketches for, but I left it at that, sketches. Some of the projects are too ambitious and I don't have either the resources or the time for it. Some other projects I know I don't have the knowledge or technique for it. Let me take an example. What if you wanted to draw a transparent piece of fabric with wrinkles and folds and have it on top of an image? The sheer amount of reflections that would go on all over the place is just too much. Before jumping into that, you need to learn how to draw fabric and stuff. Sometimes you can't put the image in your head onto paper like that. It's a bit hard to swallow, but it makes sense. And until you have the knowledge for that, you can still draw other stuff or simplified study pieces until you feel ready for it. That's what's great about learning, in arts and in general. You need to learn the building blocks first before making a whole product. But in art, even the building blocks can be displayed and can be original, and they can also feel like a complete thing on their own. Back to Water City now. Ever since I started drawing it, my idea was always to print it at some point. Because I changed apartments recently, my walls are still too bare and empty. I wanted a nice piece to decorate my room and something drawn by me. The mistake I did is to not look at the proper sizes for printing beforehand. I just assumed going very big with a high resolution would solve everything, when in fact I was just lazy and didn't want to look up the info. Because of that, I drew on a much larger canvas that I needed, and the consequences were a nightmare. My computer is not that great, y'all. It's kind of a shitty laptop and I really see its limits when I try to draw something big in Photoshop. Example, when looking at Water City full size on screen with a random brush, making a large line across the whole canvas would take about 8 seconds to process. And it's just the time Photoshop needs to calculate the path of the brush as well as the pressure and size and everything. It's a nightmare. But at least each small building is in a high enough resolution to be displayed. And it's always easier to scale down a piece than scale it up. So in the end, I think I made it work. Now all I need to do is find some place to print it. I want an A2 format, and again, because my canvas size is not adapted, I will probably need to have a few test prints before I can take home a good decoration for my wall. That will also serve me as a good practice for later, when I have enough of an audience that I can offer prints for sale. For now, I only have 52 subscribers here, and about 130 followers on Instagram, so I'm not gonna bother trying to set up a shop. But eventually, I would love to make my art available for purchase. What else is there to say about this drawing? Oh yeah, it may or may not be part of a bigger picture piece, with 4 or 5 complementary drawings. I'm not that sure yet, I guess time will tell, but just in case, you should subscribe to my channel. It's really easy and I won't bother you too much when you do, only a video or two per week, and then you'll be the first to know when I do turn Wardrobe City into a bigger thing. That's all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed this tedious drawing process. I really like the finished piece. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next Sunday. Wait! Another quick plug. I've started writing again, so if you're a fan of wuxia, xiangxia, oriental light novels, find me on web novel too. I'm at chapter 71 of Universal Knowledge of the Tao, my fantasy web novel. Right, this time I'm really off. Bye!